Alright friends, so we are going to pick up where we left off on our Grandma Moses inspired landscape. So our first step today is we will be finishing our drawing and adding any details to your artwork that needs to be added. So as you can see from the last time that you saw my artwork, I went ahead and added a lot more details. I added some overlapping mountains back here in the background. I added a sun rising or maybe setting in my landscape. I added a house, some details like a fence and a couple horses. I added a path that goes down to the stream. So I really want you to think about adding details similar to Grandma Moses. Her artwork was full of activity, and so we want to see that in our own artwork. Also remember that we are using those 6 tricks that artists use to create the illusion of space. So we have overlapping. We're overlapping here where my horse is drinking out of the stream. We have perspective where this is kind of going back off into the distance. We have size differences where things that are close to you are going to be big and close to the bottom of the paper. And as things get farther away, they rise up on the paper and they're going to get smaller and smaller. And then also we need to remember change in detail. Things that are close to us are going to be really detailed. As things get farther away, we lose that detail because it's farther away, we can't see it as clearly. So first step today is to finish your drawing. After you finish drawing with the pencil, we are going to trace everything with a Sharpie. We have 2 different kinds of Sharpies. We have our regular Sharpie, and then I also have some of these pen Sharpies that we can use in some of these smaller areas where it might be too close together to use that big tip of the regular Sharpie. So we're all pretty familiar with tracing. We trace with Sharpies very often. So what we're going to do is just go ahead, go right over our pencil lines, making sure that we're staying on our lines. If we get off of the line, it's no big deal. We're going to clean that up a little bit later. So I'm even going to trace my details. So we're going to go over everything. So in my tree trunk here, I do have some details, some lines, but they're pretty small. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to my pen Sharpie. Oops, and that's not working very well. Let me get another one. I'll use this one. So I'm just going to go over the details that I added in the trunk of my tree to make those kind of texture of the tree trunk. So we're going to continue. I'm going to go back here to my fence. I'm going to trace it using draw, skip, draw so that we don't draw through our objects. Like that. I can come over here, start doing some of this tracing. I am going to wait to trace my horses because I'm going to use the pen Sharpie for those. If you have buildings like houses or barns or anything like that, adding details, if they're close to us in the picture, adding details like siding or even We could put some curved lines to make it look like shingles on our roof. Those are the kinds of things that really make your artwork more interesting to look at. So take your time when you are working and make sure that you have all of the details added. That's really going to make your artwork stand out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop here. You guys know what tracing looks like. You are going to trace everything in your artwork. Then of course we're going to come back with an eraser, and if you need to borrow one, you can. We're going to erase any pencil lines that are left behind. And what this does is it just really makes our artwork look nice and tidy, nice and neat. We don't have a lot of messy lines kind of hanging out like such. The very last thing that we will do, if we have time today, we'll see how long it takes us to get these steps done. But the very next thing that we'll do is we are going to start coloring in our details. So when I say our details, what I mean is you're going to color in everything that you drew that is not sky or snowy ground, because remember that we're going to have a snowy winter landscape. So we do not want to color in our snowy ground. We do not want to color in our sky. We are going to be doing some painting next time in our sky and adding some little kind of glistening snow details to our snowy ground. So you're going to color in with crayon the trees, fences, any animals, any people. If you want to color in your mountains, you can color in your sun, you can color in your houses. If you have water, you can choose. You might want to color it in with crayon, or you can leave it and we can paint it with the watercolor. So that's going to be up to you. But so our next step then, after tracing and erasing, is going to be to start coloring in our details.